you go inside and talk.
Lately, I've heard of so many things. Not as well. There's a lot of bad people here in the world right now. But are they so powerless and small sometimes? When we have to focus on the small things that we can. We're not worried about the bigger things. Our world leaders are already taking care of it. For instance, the United Nations has already established the Sustainable Development Goals.
The United Nations established the Sustainable Developmental Goals in 2015 to act as goals for each member state to achieve by the year 2030. These SDGs were set up by the UN General Assembly. The main focus of these goals were to facilitate global development that was also sustainable in the long term. Some of the goals of this program include zero poverty, reducing inequality, and climate action. To help these goals achieve their target, various tools have been created. For example, the SDG Tracker was launched in June 2018 that presents available data across all indicators in the SDG.
Man, I'm feeling a lot better right now. That's great, man. But you're worried about climate change now, right? Well, there's actually a way to mitigate it. Oh, what's that? Well, we could implement nuclear energy.
Nuclear energy is energy produced from nuclear fission, a process where heavy atoms are turned into lighter atoms through a controlled radioactive decay. The process produces a lot of energy, which is used to heat up water to turn into steam, which is then used to spin a turbine at high speeds to produce electricity. Nuclear energy is very stable. According to the American Department of Energy, it has the highest capacity factor of all energy sources in the United States, which is 92%.
Well, I agree that nuclear energy sounds great, but there is no way we could implement it in Malaysia, right?
Well, actually, you'd be surprised to know that Malaysia actually had plans for a nuclear power plant.
Really?
Nuclear energy in Malaysia began as an idea from former Deputy Prime Minister Tun Dr. Ismail Dato' Abdul Rahman in the wake of the 1970s global oil crisis. The Centre for Application of Nuclear Energy, CRANE, was founded with the goal of producing capable scientists to spearhead future nuclear power programs in the hopes of creating an alternative power source in Malaysia. The Tun Dr. Ismail Atomic Research Centre, PUSPATI, was then founded on 19 September 1972.
But actually, I remember reading a study about the perception of nuclear energy in Malaysia. We don't have a lot of acceptance towards it, especially after the Fukushima accident. And like you said, our plan got cancelled since our leader have a bad experience with it.
Well, actually, those studies stated that the reason why they had a bad perception was because of their lack of knowledge towards nuclear energy. So, why don't we go around and find out what people think about nuclear energy?
Oh, how did you do that?
Oh, don't question it, it's fine. So, why don't we interview some people about nuclear energy? Let's go. Yo, bro.
Yeah.
Should we ask you projected about nuclear energy?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, bro, are you free right now? Because I want to ask some questions about nuclear energy.
Hi, we'd like to ask you some questions about nuclear energy. Are you serious right now, bro? Yes, I'm serious.
So, what's the first thing that comes to mind when I say nuclear?
Nuclear action, right? Right, actually, nuclear energy is about to be 98% left from 6% compared to Earth and 20% left compared to gas. But what about like Chernobyl or Fukushima?
Okay, so in both of those cases, the main cause was human negligence. In the case of Chernobyl, it was caused due to outdated equipment and a lot of problems in the chain of command. For Fukushima's instance, the power plant was built in a location that was not suitable enough for a nuclear power plant, which was susceptible to flooding, tsunamis, and an earthquake. So both of these were caused, as you can see, were not because of nuclear energy itself, but because of human negligence.
Anyway, in Malaysia, we hardly get any major natural disaster except for flooding, which we can mitigate the use of proper cooling of drink and water channels.
Isn't nuclear waste is very high risk?
Well, actually, 90% of nuclear waste is mostly low-level waste like clothes, paper, and plastic that can easily dispose of. And the remaining 10% is fuel waste, which we can store underground in other countries. Geologists carefully study the location for this underground waste storage to ensure that it will not be a problem for future generations.
Well, I'm glad you asked that.
Hello, where are we? Why is it so hard to breathe? Look, that guy is dying. Should have been happy.
It's okay, don't worry about that. More importantly, this is our future. If we don't stop using fossil fuels now, currently, the majority of Malaysian energy comes from coal and also natural gas. And this will only increase as time goes on and our natural gas reserves continue to plummet and our reliance on coal will still increase.
So, why don't you just use solar energy instead?
Glad you asked that. Let's go.
How do you guys get here?
As you can see, it's really dark out here, and even outside it's stormy. Solar panels are very weather dependent, and thus they can't really use to be used 24/7. The energy produced by solar panels also can't really be stored as it is right now. We don't have any way we can do it with our current technology. So that's why we can't use solar panels by itself.
Then, why don't we use hydropower to support solar energy?
Good question. Let's go.
You're just going to be left out here?
Really? Why is there water in my shoes? Well, right now we are at the site of a dam being constructed and it's being flooded as we speak. As you can see, hydropower can cause a lot of flooding to the forested areas. In Sarawak, the native communities have been distracted since the dam have been built. They are forced to move away from their house and sometimes they are not properly compensated for it. Not just that, but the ecosystem can also be devastated by this dam construction. Upstream, areas previously inland will be submerged, while downstream, the size of the river might reduce due to less water flowing through it, and thus reduce the size of the marine habitats. And when it rains heavily, storm surges may occur. This is because when the water level becomes too high on the side for the dam to be attained, it will be forced to release it all downstream, and thus can cause flooding in areas that were lower.
So that's the importance of nuclear energy.
Yes. Thank you, Ariq, for your time. Let's go.
Whoa! Now I realize it was not nuclear energy.
We also know that nuclear energy is needed for sustainable life. It does not mean that we have to stop the development of other renewable energy sources, but nuclear energy should go hand in hand with solar power and hydropower to fight against fossil fuels.
So, thanks a lot for sharing that.